going on, guys? Welcome back to a brand new tactic. Today we've got a high-scoring, fast-paced 3-4-2-1 tactic that hopefully you do enjoy. If you do enjoy the videos, be sure to leave a like and subscribe. And once again, you can find all of this year's tactics over on a fast download in the Patreon in the link below. Let's get into the test and start with the strongest to the weakest team. So then the first test is going to be with Manchester City, and this tactic is known for one thing, and that is getting the most out of strikers. And we have got Erling Haaland to surpass 120 goals. Now, the best I've ever seen from one of my tactics is 122 before. I have got a nap one with 143, so fair play to him, but this is going to be the best I've personally got from Haaland this year. By far the best striker in the game, in my opinion. Now, in terms of trophies, we are going to win pretty much the entire batch. The Premier League, only one loss. That is going to be against Brentford away from home. The Champions League, we are going to beat Madrid 2-0, which is, you know, not an easy final, but with this tactic and with this team, we made it look quite easy. The Carabao Cup, a very close game against Tottenham, and the Community Shield, a bit more of an easier game against Manchester United. Now, it wasn't just Haaland that done everything at the end of the day, because we were also incredibly good at the back with only 27 clean sheets. I say only, a lot of clean sheets. 14 goals conceded, pretty good on the ball, although this is not really a possession-based tactic, more looking on the counter, and goals, 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 hence why we also had so many shots. Now, in terms of the data hub, we are going to be reaching 3.74 goals per game, 0.37 conceded, an 89% pass completion, and a very good amount of shots per game. Now, the idea behind this tactic is to have lots of goals, but also be quite just balanced and also be able to compete with pretty much across all competitions, which means you also need to have a little bit of something about you at the back, which is why we didn't completely send everybody forward. You are going to see in a tactic shortly, it's nice and balanced across the whole pitch. Now, usually you watch the Champions League final, but since this game definitely has more action in terms of goals going in for us, I wanted to show you it because you can see how good this tactic is. One of the key factors of this tactic is how good the wing-backs are. We've seen it with Gvardiol, we're now seeing it with Kyle Walker into Phil Foden, who's going to take his time, drive past the entire Ipswich backline, and is going to make it 2-0 inside of 10 minutes. A set piece here from De Bruyne, a ball in the box, backstick into Haaland. If you've not got the set pieces, go over and get them, because as you can see, they are absolutely broken. They are by far some of the best I've tested this year, and they are absolutely amazing. But again, we are going to get a good indicator of the wing-backs right here, with Gvardiol playing another big part. One thing I will say, you're using this tactic, especially the default or the attacking version, make sure you have got good wing-backs in place, because if you can see right now, if you've got good wing-backs or decent wing-backs, the amount of goals they provide is an absolute joke. I'd say probably around 65 to 70% of the goals probably come from somewhere from the wing-backs, whether they start it or they get the assists themselves. They play such a big role in this tactic, and at the end of the day, if you haven't got that quality, you are going to not get the same results, putting it bluntly. What a game. We're then going to go over and test with Bayer Leverkusen, one of my favourite teams in Germany, just behind RB Leipzig, the Super RB. We are then going to go over and also win the German Super Cup 5-0 over VfB Stuttgart, a bit of an easier game. And the league, again, not as pretty as Man City, but we only lose against Gladbach, Frankfurt and FC Bayern, a 10-point gap on FC Bayern as well, so a very good season. Technically, not the best in the league when it comes to goals. We are going to be in second place, but we won the league, so that's the main stat for me. We are going to have the most shots, the fewest shots against. Possession, quite a big increase in second place with 58% of the ball. Very good at the back, but these stats are beautiful. But the one that matters is the most points per game, and obviously we are going to win that one. In terms of the data hub, again, a little bit of a drop-off in terms of the goals. 2.24, 0.59 conceded. Yes, we are not obviously the clear powerhouse, so the stats have gone down a fair bit, but you can see here you're scoring more than enough goals, more than you would ever need. Defensively, you are absolutely sound. You can pass the ball to a very good degree, and you're getting off over 17.5 shots a game. You're doing everything you would want to be doing, all while winning 2 trophies in one season. And Victor Boniface, the star of a recent rebuild, he's come back. Sometimes in the game, even when you've got a great tactic and you're playing some great football, which we have done, by the way, that goal there was absolutely incredible. Sometimes you do rely on set pieces again. That's why I say make sure you have got them, because we score so many goals from set pieces over an entire season. It's an absolute joke. You can see 2 here, both from Tapsoba, not that far apart either. Set pieces are so important in football, but also in Football Manager, as, do you know what? Let's go and score a third one. Lastly, we are going to test with Rennes, the main aim was to try and win that French league. Unfortunately, we didn't. It was a little bit shy of it, but we are still going to be very good. We are only, what, 4 points behind them. We do win the French Cup over them, however, against FC Lorient, which at the end of the day is a bit of an easier final, but you can only play who's in front of you. Now, in terms of the stats, one thing that I was really happy with this tactic, again, this was tested using the defensive version, so we were never really expecting to go out and score loads of goals, was not only how close the league table actually was, but in terms of the defensive stats, we are clear by PSG by quite some bit. Now, yes, this is a lot more of a defensive approach to the tactic, hence why there is going to be a few less goals. It doesn't really affect the possession too much, but it just goes to show that you can go in an entire season with a more defensive setup and still do really well. 2.2 goals a game, which is still good. 0.41 conceded. A good pass completion. A good amount of shots per game. I mean, yes, it's not as attacking as the other two, but come on, we're Rennes. Second place in the French Cup. I'll take it. We also had a great time with Rennes, to be honest, starting off with a great penalty inside of 1 minute played, and then it is going to be, funny enough, another set piece, but this one, that's just down to individual quality. What a finish that is. Another penalty. We're going to step. We're going to score. And again, Toulouse aren't the worst team ever. And we are stuffing them 4-0 away from home, which is a really good sign of what we can actually do. And how about that one? Of course, now over to your favourite part of the video, though, the tactic breakdown. If you are enjoying back home, be sure to leave a like and subscribe. And once again, if you do enjoy rebuilds, do come over to Daily Josh. It's going to be in the description. I'll pop up a thumbnail on the screen right now. We are cooking with the rebuilds. We've got so many good rebuilds out, and all of the tactics do get used over 5 to 10 years, so make sure you come on over, because trust me, you're missing out on top rebuild content. But to make this tactic, all you want to do is actually load in a create your own style. Of course, Go doesn't even offer the system, so we'll load in this and we'll drag in the positions. Right then, let's go over and actually make this tactic. So the first thing you want to do is, of course, change from balanced all the way up to positive, because we do play some quite attacking football. Don't worry, by the way, the shape does change as we go through the tactic. We are going to start off today with the goalkeeper. Now, with the goalkeeper, because we have got a free back system and we're not always going to be playing out from the back despite being told to, sometimes we do go a little bit more direct. I want him to be quite a reserve goalkeeper, so for the first time in a long time, we are going to use ease off tackles as an instruction. So he's basically just a normal goalkeeper. We're then going to go with 2 wide centre backs. Now, you can use a mixture in this, to be honest with you, because you can go with 2 ball playing defenders or central defenders and tell them to stay wider, but for me it worked really well for some reason using the actual wide centre backs in this system, and all we're going to simply have for those is shoot less often and also set to tackle harder, because I don't really want these players taking pop shots. This typically happens from set pieces when a rebound comes in, something like that. I don't really like it. And in the middle, we are going to operate with a ball playing defender, because we do occasionally play out from the back, and having a player, especially in the middle, that can sort of dictate it is a really good way of playing football. So all 3 centre backs, 2 wide ones, 1 in the middle being a ball player, simply on shoot less and of course tackle harder. Now, this is where the tactic really comes into its own, because this is probably the most important part of the tactic, and that is going to be your wing backs. Now, for me, I've made so many tactics this year. I've had so many different opinions being made by me, made by others, whatever you want to use. For me, when I'm trying to get the most, and I mean the maximum out of a wing back, I will always go with the complete wing back and have them both on attack, because for me, it was in my Xabi Alonso tactic as well. Grimaldo, Frimpong absolutely thrive in this system, and they were pretty much operating on these instructions. So let's go through, let's talk about it. We are going to have them set to cross more often. Also, we are going to have a very key instruction, and this is why Haaland gets so many goals. Cross at the centre, also run wide, and also tackle harder. I cannot stress to you how many goals your striker will get if you play this way. You've seen it with literally your own eyes, but just having them aim the ball at the centre, really prioritise and feeding it to the striker, you are going to give him so many goals. It is absolutely unbelievable. Genuinely, it's absolutely mental. And to protect this back line, we are going to make a very unique 3-4-2-1. We are going to go in with a DM who is going to be set to support, and he is going to have some instructions. Those are going to consist of dribbling less. We're also going to have shoot less, also hold the position, and tackle harder. So a very risk-free player in that midfield to protect the back line, because we have got wing backs that are going to be bombing forward. The ball players and the wide players won't really be making too many runs, but it's good to have protection at the back line. I want to quickly say, if you are interested in getting access to all 3 of these tactics, also get them on console and on mobile, and unlock all of these wonderful perks, including all of my tactics from this year, all of my rebuild files, one-on-one tactical help, and access to this month's giveaway, which is over £400. You can come over and sign up to the Patreon, where you can be part of a team of 5,000 people. Still plenty of time to enter the giveaway, and to make it even better, we've got 20% off all the way up until the end of the month. But going up to this team, we are actually going to stick with this unique shape. Usually you see a sort of 3-4-2-1 with 2 players deep here. It's getting boring. We want to try and switch things up, and just having one player a bit more pushed up that's not too aggressive but more of a roaming sort of player works really well. And with that being said, it is going to be a central midfield player on automatic. I'm moving into the channels and also roaming from the position. Now, what I really like about this player is he doesn't only just sit there. He will roam about, he'll get into different channels, he'll link up the play, and it just helps out everyone in the team. Whether it's the wing back, you sometimes see him over here making a triangle with the DM and the complete wing back. Of course, that can be done on this side as well. And just having that player that roams about helps out quite a fair bit, to be honest. Going up to the sort of attacking players, we are going to go with 2 attacking midfield players, and both of them are going to have simple instructions: get forward and also roam. One thing you need to make sure when you're playing a tactic like this, you need to have them quite fluid. You need to make them move about all the time, because it is quite a narrow system and you can get away with playing it like that, but you need to also have a little bit about you roaming into different areas, and this is the best way to do it, which is also why you see the advanced forward take up a bit of a unique one. We're simply going to have him set to roam from position, so he is going to take up different areas, which is optional, but for me it worked really, really well. We're then going to go over to the actual team instructions, and we are going to have it set to fairly wide, pass into the space, focus through the middle, play out from the back. The tempo all the way up to higher. The passing is also going to remain like this, so that's why I said I'm not too fussed about the possession stat, because we are not a tiki-taka team. We are more of a hit on the break sort of vibe, and that worked really, really well. The crosses remain on mixed, and run at defence is going to be the favoured dribbling style. In transition, we're going to counter press and counter, and simply take short goal kicks, meaning it can go anywhere across the back line, to the playmakers, or even to the wide areas as well, which, to be honest, for us would be our wing-backs, to be honest. So out of possession, we are going to switch things up, and you probably would expect to see a much higher line. You're not going to get that today, because this is quite the different tactic. We are going to have the high press and the standard line. We're going to max out the trigger press. We're going to get stuck in, step up more, and trap inside. Obviously, we've got a lot of players in this area here. We've got quite a fair few. So trapping the ball, or trapping the team in that area, is very difficult for them to play out of, and that's why we were so successful. It really did play a big factor. Going over to the attacking version, again, this is designed for your more powerhouse teams, or to try and get some more goals. We are going to operate with the same sweeper keeper. We're going to operate with exactly the same back line. The complete wing backs also the same. The DM also the same. The CM exactly the same. We're now going to have 2 AMs, both on attack, both on roam. So the big change there is from support to attack, and the other big change is the mentality. We are going to go up to attacking, and this is where it gets really, really aggressive. So we are going to pass into the space. This stuff remains the same, this remains the same, but what do you think would change to go more attacking? Of course, the overlapping runs. Really get them complete wing backs flying forward, because this will get you more goals. It leaves you more vulnerable, but if you're playing as a top team, you'll get away with it, and if you are trying to chase a game, you need to take risks, so there's no excuse not to play like it. In transition, we're going to counter press, counter, distribute quickly, take short goal kicks. Again, if you are playing this over a whole season with like City, like I did for example, you don't need to have this on, but if you are trying to get back into a game, you better get the ball moving a little bit quicker, so make sure it's on. We're then going to deploy the high press with the higher line. We're also going to trap inside, step up more, get stuck in, and also max out the trigger press to much more often. A complete optional thing here would be, if you are desperate for a goal, you can go up to much higher. Now, the defensive tactic is again designed for defending a game out, funny enough, with, or as we did, playing a whole season with Rennes. So it works either way. Make sure you get all 3, because it will suit your team a lot better. The goalkeeper and the back line remains exactly the same. The wing backs don't. Both on defend, both on tackle harder, nice and resilient. The DM on defend, on tackle harder. The central midfield player comes in, exactly the same, roam, channels, and pass it shorter. And this is where you're going to see how this tactic differs from the rest. The AM on the left and on the right On the left, we have got pass it short, get forward, and roam. This will be really good to hold possession between these 4 players here. And the AM on the right, simply on get forward and roam from position, with the advanced forward also having pass it short. If you're wondering, Josh, if you forgot to have pass it short, I haven't. One of the players I don't want limited to passing it shorter because it does affect some creative opportunities. So we've got this sort of diamond here. 3 of them are on pass it shorter. One of them can take a few more risks. It's a really good way of playing. In terms of the sort of team instructions, mentality-wise, we are going to go back down to positive. In terms of the instructions, playing out from the back, focusing through the middle, time wasting, you best know we're having sometimes on that. The tempo remains on standard, but the passing is going to go down by 1 to shorter, so a bit more of the possession factor coming in. In transition, counter press, slow pace down, and hold the shape. Even when I played the whole season, I did have slow pace down on, because if your goalkeeper's not the most confident, you want him to be, you know, thinking about what he's doing, not being too reckless. So slow pace down does help there. Take short goal kicks and play to anyone across the back line. And lastly, out of possession, we are going to deploy the standard line with that high press. Much more often, it's still going to be a pride because I want a bit of fight in the team, get stuck in, and also the trap inside should never come off because it literally plays to this tactic so well. And that's going to give you 3 variants of this very unique 3-4-2-1, which hopefully you do enjoy. A few things to remember: make sure you're getting all 3 tactics, make sure you're downloading the training, the set pieces, and please make sure your players can actually play in the system to get the best out of it. Hopefully you have enjoyed. Be sure to leave a like and subscribe, and I'll see you in the next